Hi all. It seems that it's impossible to try and share new ideas and not come across as the massive marketing money sales guy. It's impossible for me to do that because I run a website. I make my living, as we all need to, by helping people. In fact, when the Mr. Jazzman fan was typing, I was probably doing a 1 hour free session, which I did, to a guy in in London who's sitting in the pit and trying not to jump off London Bridge. He's having some serious problems. That's what I do, is I help people. And then I had an hour session with my subscribers. And by the way, I don't make money from YouTube. If you see ads and you're watching YouTube, I don't monetize this. That's not. I've got subscribers here, right? So it's impossible to help when you own a website. Then, if we go dubious, I didn't watch I'm going to pass comment, but I didn't watch the whole thing because I can't watch long content or I'm dubious. Let me translate that. The way I think is the way it is. Now, if we're all happy with our playing, I don't even know why we'd be here. Be off doing other things, playing music and having a ball. But if we're not, if we're having problems, why? What's going on? So it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's 10 to, and I'm about to go on and do another, because I do 2 sessions for my subscribers every week. A lot of the weeks. Sometimes I do 1, sometimes I do 2. And I do Teaching Tuesdays as well, which you don't pay extra for. It's a free lesson. I don't know what obfuscate means. Kidding. 10 to 7 or whatever, first note of the day. Spit note. No body involvement. They're spit notes. And then if we take a hum, take a breath, I'm passive. The body's role is for long tones and loud notes. Now, if we pull 2 parts of a sentence away and go, you can play a long phrase, but it's getting softer, interesting. That's why I generally don't get myself involved in these kinds of things, because that's ridiculous. We're talking about spit notes, and I said you can play a longer phrase, but it's going to get softer because we're running out of energy, and if we go higher, it gets softer again. It's not going to last very long, but it's longer than a spit note, and that's why trying to speak rationally against some irrational comments kind of irks me, but I won't be doing any more on this in this topic. You can, as I said in the video, and that's why I said I got my armour on, because I get it now. But see, when it was this, I wouldn't get involved. Now it's this. It's time for change. And there are some misconstrued ideas. If something comes across as dubious, be critical. Be curious. This here is a sphincter. If you blow as hard as you can, you cannot undo it. I call them the lip zips. You can't undo it. No matter how hard you blow, the body is super strong and can create massive compression. The reason a lot of people suffer, and I did it myself, and I've spent days working with people that have problems. Lots of throaticulation, Valsalva maneuver, tightness in the chest. smiling. T for two. T, two. T is using the risorius muscles, stretching the lips outwards. Everyone's been taught to smile. Then what do you have to do? You've got to roll your lips in, you've got to blow hard. That's not necessarily the most efficient way of playing. Now, because we're not using the orbicularis or the sphincter in the way that it's intended for trumpet, you can do that. Some people make it work, most don't. If that was the way, if that was smile, buzz your lips tight and play, there would be no Trumpet Herald Forum. There'd be no International Trumpet Guild Conference. Look, I've said many times before, there's no International Toenail Cutting Convention because everyone can do it. Right? So, being dubious means that there is something that's upsetting the subconscious brain and my belief system. I wonder what that is. I'm curious to know something that maybe I hadn't heard before. I was, and I've been told along the way plenty of things that I thought of, and I have absolutely and utterly changed my tune. Tongue position in the mouth changes pitch. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It changes the sound, and it might play a little role, but it's not the tongue position in the mouth. Curious? Do the 10 steps. Ooh. So we're going to use the sphincter in the way that it's really super duper strong. And then we're going to use our aperture corners, and that's what manipulates velocity, which manipulates the frequency of the oscillation of the bed sheet, the top lip, the skin of the top lip. We keep the body open the whole time. Put your finger in your mouth, close your eyes and take a breath. If that feels foreign, you're working too hard. Then, if we hum, it's getting softer because I'm using passive compression, and the pressure reduces as we get towards equilibrium, atmospheric pressure. So then the body needs to get involved to sustain the long notes and the loud notes. But it's not pitch. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so the body wasn't involved for the pitch change. I can if I go, then the body's playing a long note loudly, but it's not the pitch. Okay, so we can be dubious, and we can stay stuck in the last 150, 200 years, if you like, if it's working. But that's not smart, because I know the real world that's out there and the problems that people are having. Bell's palsy. There are ways to train the brain to get past it. Musicians' focal dystonia, I spend a lot of time with. To help people, some people will go on and get further training that they pay for. Not everyone. And I help a lot of people that don't pay, because I see people in distress all day, every day. And so why is this still going after started writing book one in the year 2000? It's now the 2025. Just trying to help people. And yes, I need to make a living. There might be some people on here that were blessed enough to either work for an employer who had a marketing company for them so they didn't have to do it. Now, I, with trepidation, came onto this platform, and I was almost going to put this reply as something about Trumpet Herald, but there are a lot of fantastic people and players on here, but it's got a reputation, unfortunately, of being really combative. And when we're not talking about the real things of acoustics, physiology, how the mouth works, how the brain learns, if it goes beyond that and starts going into ulterior motives and stuff like that, we're stuck. We can't move the world forward into a better place for everyone. Okay, so we're just trying to spread some information. As I said, come and do the 10 steps. I guarantee, I don't care who the player is. I see the world's best players. I played next to some of them, a lot of them. Quite often I'll hear, they're doing this, they're just grabbing. They still sound freaking amazing at the front, but they could do it easier if they wanted to. They've got no need to. They've got no urgency to. They don't have to. I'm being contacted at the moment by some very high-profile people that have been playing at the world's top level for many, many years, but they're getting a bit older. Greg, we need to get stronger. No, you don't. No. It's not about strength. You've been playing strong for years and getting the result. Now the result's becoming harder. We've got to get smarter with our understanding of the musculature, how the system works. Open it up. All the choking, all the articulation issues, all the endurance issues, all the range limits and ceilings. It's just because we're using big muscles in the wrong way. And so I'm just putting it out there that we've moved into the second 20 years of Mystery to Mastery, and there's a 2 there. T2. The muscles are working in different ways. T, resorius, used car salesman, limited endurance, limited sound, stretched lips. You know, some people, very small percentage, can roll in, blow hard, sound incredible. Most people have limitations. People are a forum like this because they've got limitations, right? So I'm not charging a cent to share what I've been exploring here. Go back to my first post in the 1760, right? So we're just trying to help folks. Just trying to put some information out there and go, if we're not open-minded to reconsider other possibilities, we're doomed. To finish with this, I had a student tell me he had early onset Parkinson's disease. We've been working through a lesson. No sign of any issue. We get the visualizer, 45 minutes in, and his hand's shaking. I'm going, what's going on with your hand shaking? He goes, oh, my neurologist has told me I've got early onset Parkinson's disease. And of course wow. On the inside, I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. I'm a bit curious. Just hang your hand down by your side. Let it drop. Wiggle your fingers around. Is it shaking now? No. Oh, that's curious. Bend your elbow. Pick it up. Wiggle your fingers. Stop. Is it shaking now? No. Move the rotator cuff. Is it shaking now? No. Have you heard of musicians' focal dystonia? No. Well, look, went through the whole list of what it could be. And I got an email the next day going, Greg, thank you so much. It's so nice to know that I've got focal dystonia because I don't have early onset Parkinson's disease. This is dealing with like people's serious shit, right? Like real life stuff. And so I was recently in Munich and I had a surgeon who got a 3-hour lesson. And he can't operate anymore. He's a surgeon. He's a physician. He now specialises, because I said shoulder and rotator cuff, and you can see his brain take off. He goes, oh, this is what I do. I work with the body, and especially around shoulders and everything. He's got a shake in his hand and can't operate anymore. This is a real-life human being, real-life story. And so we went through the same process because the brain learns from sensation, the feeling. We don't learn from a book. We don't learn from listening or hearing. We don't learn from listening to half a video of someone saying a lot of things. If you can't listen to the information to then put a picture of what we might try and achieve and then work towards doing it with an understanding of how it works, you're probably going to stay where you are. And if you're happy with where you are, you don't need to reconsider anything. But if you do, having problems, reconsider. So this guy, who's a physician, had a neurologist, or a few neurologists say, I've got 5 minutes because I've got a live session to, people all over the world. He's a physician and he knows all about this stuff. And so I did the same process, sending the sensory information around. All these things that we do to train the brain, change the brain, bend the elbow, bend the rotator cuff. We took the time and there was not a shake. It's the first time in years that he hasn't had it. And he said, quote, we are telling people the wrong thing. And that's the medical industry and neurology about dystonia. People do not know about musicians' focal dystonia. That's what I'm doing. I've spent freaking so much money over the last few years traveling the world to tell people about musicians' focal dystonia, and there's a cure for it. The learning process that I'm showing you here is the same if you're having problems and need to make a difference to your playing. So being dubious, I'm more than happy for you to be dubious, because then when you realise that there is something else, you might actually get an explosion of dopamine and go, I didn't know that. Wow, that's really cool. I guarantee there's things that you don't know. I guarantee it. I've got to go. I've got a live session to my subscribers that are paid subscribers now. So, I know I'm being a bit funny. This is actually really serious stuff. We're trying to make a difference. It's not about money. I put that video out to try and help people open their minds. If you want to stay and get help, I need to pay bills too. Anyway, Trumpet Herald, lovely to see you. First post in a long, long time, as you'll see. And maybe I'll post something else. It's kind of fun. But I won't be replying on this thread anymore because I've said what I need to say. And, let the fun begin. Just trying to help dudes.